here's my debriefing after my second lesson. So standards 1, 2, 3, I prepared some questions for you. So considering the standards, how was my eliciting? Was it okay for their level? How was what I presented compared to their development level?
I thought it was really good. I thought it was pretty much spot on. I feel like after having your last lesson that you were able to know exactly what their level was and what was an appropriate activity for them.
Okay, were there anybody who were not, do you think, involved?
No, I think you did it really well. In your introduction part, where you were doing your teacher talk, you still had them really involved and engaged. And especially like with the box, I felt like that was a really good way, and they were all kind of like on, on center hooks. Yeah. And they just all seemed genuinely interested. And I saw even children who normally wouldn't kind of raise their hands, I saw quite a few of them trying to participate, which made me think, yes, it was a really engaging lesson for all levels, like the higher levels were engaged and also the lower levels as well.
Okay, that's great. And do you think I was able to create a positive environment in the class, like respectful and...
Yes, I think it was positive. I think that they remembered you from last time. I think that they were listening well, they were responding well. In the beginning, like I already said to you, they're a little bit shy, a little bit quiet, but I think that they're getting more used to you, so that they're responding well. I think... Okay.
Yeah. And how about the tasks? Were they, because last time we discussed it, my tasks were okay, but the materials were a bit stimulating.
I really liked that you had like a big visual and then just minimal amount of text, and I think that they responded well to it. And you also chose really fun pictures for them, because I saw like one saying like kind of like looking at the cake with a little face on, and then you chose candy, and so I think that also
I wanted something to engage them and to
they were fun pictures, and I saw them like smiling and laughing with each other about them. So I think that you did really well on like reducing the amount of text on the slide.
That's what I was going for, just because last time I felt like I'm taking too much talking time, and just it's a bit me-centered rather than them-centered, even though I tried to include them. So today I was trying to, even during my teaching part, I was trying to get them.
I felt like they were very engaged, and you kept like checking in with them. And so it wasn't just you for like 15 minutes, talking all the time.
Am I recording? Yeah. Okay. How about my scaffolding? Was that okay for instruction? Like, did I not overdo it?
No, I thought that you had everybody involved and you supported well, and you always, what I liked when, for example, you were asking them about things in the box and then trying to get the this is or there is or there are, that you would elicit the sentence again, like you would say the sentence properly, so that they could hear what it sounded like, because when they give you answers, sometimes they leave things out, or it's a little bit broken and the other kids can't hear it. So I think it's always really good to try and say the sentence again, and then also for them to repeat it again as a class. I also didn't want to kind of like fix the mistakes that we weren't working on, but I still wanted to fix the mistakes so they kind of get the proper idea of what the sentence should be like if they would say in the street or something like this, and I would make them say it right. Okay, do you think I gave enough support to the lower level students? Like, I know Jack was late. Jack was late, and he looked a bit thrown as well. I felt like something had gone on, and he kept mumbling about the rain. And he looked upset. I don't know if they'd taken them a long time to get a taxi or something, but he was a little bit out of it. But actually, the partner setup was quite good in that most of the very low children were sat with somebody who could help them a little bit.
That's why I tried to tell them, instead of just when one of them would be ready, I would check him and say, the other person, when you finished, check with your partner because he has the right answers. So kind of like trying to again put them together so they work together, and at the same time it saves me time because I have a lot of kids to go around.
They still struggle with the partner work. You see that,
but it has to be done constantly.
Yes, it has to be done constantly, and so I found that in some of the activity where it was the partner work, that they were working by themselves.
And
So
I
having
had
to
to, like,
explain again.
Did you tell that to your partner?
Yeah.
You have to tell it
But
to
then it
your
was
partner.
funny because then in the last part where it was
They
by
started-
themselves, they started to do partner work.
But it's okay. Essentially, that's what I want.
Yes.
But I needed. This was a formative assessment, so I
Yes.
wanted them to do it separately.
Separately,
But it's okay.
yeah.
And again, yeah, this I asked already, positive and respectful. I feel like I've done okay at the start of the lesson when I made a couple of jokes about the weather, and they seemed a bit, kind of relaxed and quite respectful, I guess.
Yes, I think that they were listening well to you. I mean, there's always times in the lessons where they kind of go off, and then they get a bit more confident with you being in the classroom. And but I think generally they're well behaved and they're good listeners. And I feel like every part was just kind of like the right amount of time before they were about to get off task. So you got instruction, then the partner task, then the individual task, and then the plenary, the end part of the lesson. I feel like it was just all kind of well timed, and maybe the last part when they all did the exit activity, I thought it was really good, but they just
took a long time.
Yes, so I suppose I could have come and done half the class, but then I think that was quite nice. They probably wanted to talk to you and wanted to give you their sentence.
Next time, I just will plan for this. This was the activity that I was most scared of, because I really wanted it to happen, because it's such an informal way to see whether they understand or not. But at the same time, I understand that it takes a long time, especially such a big class.
Yeah.
Well, I'll think about something else next
Well,
time.
what we sometimes do is we'll go row by row. So just even them stood in a line for a long time. So just the first row can come up and do it, and then the second row, and so on.
Okay. How about the physical activity? Like, I did this little shake-up session. Do you think it really helped them to concentrate? I could feel that some of them started wriggle and jiggle before we did that. So I felt like after this partner work, it would have been nice to just kind of give them a break.
Yeah, I think it was in a good place. They've been sat for quite a long time, and I think it was. Yeah, I think that they enjoyed it, and it was it was like a minute or so, but it was.
They would shake them too much, but
sometimes that can happen where then they go back and they're really excited. But I think they need it. They need it because otherwise it's 45 minutes of just sat down.
I feel like breathing is the big part of it, not just jump and run in place, but the breathing, because it makes your heart rate slow down and it kind of calms you down. Okay, the other thing we discussed involved in the lesson, student-centered expectations. Yeah, how do you think with expectations? Like, I could see that I had to come back to the rules a couple of times, but overall, do you think it was a progress from last time or regress?
I think that they were engaged, and I think that they understood what to do. And I think that from what I could see, most of them could follow your instructions, and they were able, maybe a little bit like with the partner work, some of them just worked by themselves. And also I saw one boy who started when it was on the individual one on the other side. He started down at the bottom instead of the letter C. Again, I would maybe sometimes they really need that really spelled out for them. The same with the partner work as well. I think that they just really always really need you to be kind of give an example. And then even I put it up on the board, so sometimes I'll scan it, or if it's in the textbook, I have the workbook on the board, and I'll focus right into the exact part that they're doing, and then I'll have that on the board, and then they can see exactly, because even though you said do part C, some of them will do.
And I feel like even though the whole class said, what letter are we doing? Letter C.
Yeah.
Some of them will still miss it, and I think it's such a kid thing to do.
Yes,
there's always going to be one or
definitely,
two who will
definitely.
do it.
And also, just one other thing was that on the activity sheet, they had theirs, THERE apostrophe S instead of there is, but the kids didn't notice that. So they.
Is it in the workbook? Like
in the sheet. So instead of saying there was there are, but then it said theirs.
Okay.
I'm sure, unless I just didn't read it properly.
Okay.
So like for one of them, he just kept putting there, but not even the S. And I was like, there is, remember?
Okay, I see.
But actually most of them didn't, they did it all correctly. They didn't even notice, they knew that it had to be there is or there
Okay.
are. But maybe it would have been confusing for
Yeah,
if somebody
someone-
had looked at
Well,
the thing properly.
Next time I'll check resources a little more. Was there something that was completely off?
No, I don't think so. I think you, like I told you, like that was a really good lesson because I had taught them there is, there are earlier in the week, and I hadn't, thought of something quite so, to keep them engaged. But we discussed it was a pretty basic lesson. They've already done singular, plural, but yeah, you managed to do it so that you. I liked that you had all the different stages. So it was like listening, whole class, partner work by themselves, and then one-on-one with you at the end.
Yeah, that's.
So I feel like you've covered all those bases. So there's be some children who would have like excelled in the partner work, or some who would have done really well by themselves because they're that kind of character, and some who would have come out when it was like the one-on-one.
Yeah, that would.
So you covered all your kind of like your bases in terms of like making sure they were all accommodated for.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, thank you.
That's all
I
I
hope I
need.
didn't talk too long again.
Sorry, no, it's fine. Oh, look at my screen.
Oh,
Nothing's
you see,
working.
and.